Terry here with Truth in Numbers. Been wondering how everybody's been doing out there, and thought I would come on today and talk a little bit about Headspace, how to maintain some quality headspace during these weeks before the election and the weeks after the election until inauguration. So I started thinking about talking about Headspace when not long ago we had a compressed time period of about a week and a half where there were huge waves of change. So the former president of the United States was for reals a victim of gun violence, followed by, not days later, followed by the sitting president of the United States deciding not to run for re-election, and then days later the sitting vice president deciding to run at the top of the ticket. Lots of change. I went from shock with tinges of horror to real grief at the president choosing not to run again, and all the circumstances around that with the media and etc., which felt very distasteful to me. I don't know how others felt. And then excitement and momentum, capping off that week and a half. I don't know about you guys, but those waves were huge to me. I was in the middle of a very busy season in my work life, and I didn't think I had the buffer to ride those waves, but I had to do it anyway. So Headspace is important, maintaining buffer internally, etc. So that's why I want to talk about an object lesson from several years ago from my life. Look at the framework around that, and then take that framework and apply it to today, and go from there. It won't take very long. So in order to talk about this object lesson, I need to give some backstory, and the backstory is about a cat. So, it's a heck of a time to be a lady talking about a cat, but I'm going to do it anyway because haters going to hate, and I think you'll get the framework from the circumstance. So, long ago in a Midwestern city far, far away, I went to a shelter and brought home a cat. A few days of him getting used to me getting used to him, I told a couple of friends I brought home a dog. Now, I still had a cat at home, but he was very unique. Whoever raised him, I got him when he was almost I think he was like a 1-year-old. So whoever raised him initially and socialized him really did an exceptional job, and he was quite a curious character. So to give you an example, this was back in the day when you'd go to Blockbuster and get a VHS tape and have people over for pizza and a movie. So I had 7 to 10 people over in the living room, and in a corner there were a couple of guys that were kicking it up a little bit, getting a little loud. And so I walked over there, and they fessed up to the fact that they were arguing over who would get my cat if I were to die suddenly. So, it wasn't just me that was fond of this kitty, but a lot of my friends really liked him. And I, for a split second there, I was like, which one of these guys, one of them, which was not a cat person, which one of these guys is most likely to knock me off to get my cat? Anyway, all in good fun, but he was pretty cool. So I came home from work one day, and Kitty was sick. So I called the vet. They told me to watch him overnight. I reached out to a couple of friends. I'm a person of faith, so I asked for prayer and felt covered. And my friends love me. They love the cat, so it was an easy ask. And so the next morning it was clear I needed to bring him into surgery. So I called in work and got off the day and put him in the crate, and I'm headed down to the vet. And I remember exactly where it was. It was this very long north-south road. And I remember being in the car and feeling very at peace. And it was kind of turned into this surreal situation, because I had been so distraught. If this cat died, it would be devastating to me, all the things. And so this surreal feeling of just being really, really calm. And And then the next thing was I started getting uncomfortable with peace, because surely this is so unreal that I shouldn't really feel this way. And then what I chose to do after that was to believe a few lies, which I'll talk to you about it here in a second. To believe a few lies that that I chose to believe, and give up this peace that I had been given. So what were those lies? So the first lie was that I would be a better cat mom if I was worried and anxious. Now, maybe I felt that way about myself, but maybe I felt like if I walked into the vet sitting room and was at peace, and that maybe it wouldn't look appropriate. I don't know. I just remember thinking, I should be worried. This is my beloved kitty. But that's a lie. It doesn't make me a better cat mom because I have this affect of anxiety. I mean, I have literally known parents of boys who, get a call from the babysitter that they've just taken their kid to their son to the emergency room, and the parents are so chill about it because that's their third boy and this is not unusual. So it's a lie to think that anxiety and worry makes me a better cat parent. The second lie, and let me take a look at that, because I usually have a PowerPoint when I talk to folks, so bear with me. Second lie. Oh, that worrying would be more productive. Like somehow something more would happen, or would be, anyway, I don't understand, but that's literally kind of what I was thinking. And then the third lie was that I would have more control over the situation if I worried. And that's not true, because I can't affect anything. Now, yeah, I mean, maybe through prayer or something like that, I can affect something given my worldview, but, worry is not more productive. So, so the frame, so I guess bear with me here. I'm getting lost a minute. But the thing is that I talked to a mentor of mine after Kitty came back from the hospital, and he was just fine. He lived for a number of years afterwards, so all turned out well. But here's the deal. This mentor of mine said, if you have the gift of peace, do not give it up. I can rest in this peace. And so I got permission to just walk around in peace whenever I've got it. I don't need to give it up, and I'm fine with that. So what was this framework that was applied to this this object lesson? And so this is kind of how I break it out. I had decided what needed to be done and was doing it. Okay. So I was doing what I needed to do. The surgery was getting done in a timely manner. I had okayed the blood test for pre-surgery stuff. So just so they knew if there were going to be any tricky, situations during surgery, they were prepared for it. I needed to wait for the vet call, as unnerving as that could be, but that was part of what I had to do. And then after surgery, I had to take care of the cat so he could heal quickly. So how does that translate to our framework for today? And this is where I want to talk about what I think is kind of a contract that we're all consciously or not consciously, negotiating with ourselves during this pre-election season. So we're all kind of like deciding, going through this negotiation process with ourselves about what we can do, what we need to do, and what we choose to do, decide to do. So what we can do, that's like our abilities, our skills, what are we able to do? What do we have energy to do? What do we have budget to do? And what do we have scheduled to do? So all of that stuff applies. And then what do we need to do? So what do I need to do when I wake up in the morning, look at myself in the mirror to feel okay about myself? What do I need to not do? Because I need to give myself time to maintain, my household and my work and all this kind of stuff. So, and then what have I decided to do? So that's similar to getting the surgery done, doing the blood tests, waiting for the vet to call, taking care of Kitty after surgery. That was that framework of what I needed, what I've decided to do, what needed to be done, and what I was going to be doing. So whatever we decide to do, whether that's making phone calls, knocking on doors, giving on a regular basis, or giving once, or voting, you know, and bringing people to vote. Just whatever that is that we need to do and we decide to do. That's the framework for today, and within that framework, we can rest, we can have peace. We are doing what we can do, and nothing, you know what I mean? We can't do anything more. What we can do to impact our democracy, you know? And so it's basically, and it's actually quite simple. Once we decide what we can do, what we want to, what we need to do, and what we decide to do, choose to do, then we can do those things in peace. And then we can also have pockets of peace when we're not doing those things. And it gives us space, pockets of space to rest and to play and to connect and to exercise and to eat good food and take the time and energy to eat good food and take care of ourselves. Because here's the deal, you know, after the election, you know, it's highly unlikely, and I'm not a pro, but it's highly unlikely that, you know, after the election it will be uneventful. Now, if it is uneventful, we're all the better for it. But we're going to need buffer for that too. So I guess I just want to give folk permission to have peace, to rest, you know, have an ongoing negotiation of what you're able to do and can do and what you need to do. Don't pick up worry, don't pick up anxiety. Now, I will mention this caveat, and all of us, you know, we've been dealing with this for 8 years, right? There are times when we get triggered, when the waves of freak out hit us, and that's something different. Maybe we could talk about that another time, but you know, but when it's not that, you know, surge of triggering or freak out or shock, we can have this framework within which to have pockets of peace and rest. So anyway, keep it simple. That's the bulk of the message. We can have peace, we can rest, we can play, we can exercise, all the things, and keep what you like, leave the rest, as they say. And the only other thing I'll leave you with is please take good care of yourselves out there. Anyway, thanks so much. Bye-bye.